Good evening everyone and welcome to tonight's video regarding Joker and all platforms that he has been on. My apologies for it being a bit later tonight. I'm just back from a screening of Renee Zellweger's new biopic film Judy, based on the life of Judy Garland, and will be reviewed tomorrow night after the Joker video. And my apologies for Instagram, there is a white light, it's just the way my light is reflecting, so my apologies. So, Joker has been in lots of platforms, as we all know, which is one of the reasons why we know and love him. Obviously, one being the comic books, of course, that had first started in 1940, but obviously when you have comic book characters that you all know and love, you want to see it as a live action or possibly animation to make that love a bit more stronger. And of course this really did first come around in the 1960s with Adam West's Batman, with Cesar Romero playing him. Now as it stands, I'm going to see television series, animated and live action films, a catalogue of 170 countries with records over 250 productions featuring the Joker as a subject, which also includes film, book and video games. So he's in a lot of platforms, let's be honest here. Like I said, one of the most earliest on-screen adaptations was, of course, Cesar Romero. In 1966 it was, and then, of course, it went on to do the Batman movie as well. Then the Joker appeared in 1968's animated television series, The Adventures of Batman, which was, of course, voiced by Larry Storch, who is, of course, on the polls, who I think he's up against Cameron Monaghan, I think it is. Honestly, these polls are getting really, really intense. I can't keep up with the intensity of them. And then the new Adventures of Batman in 1977 that was voiced by Lenny Weinrib as well. So that's another one for you. Then we jump over to 1985, the Superpowers Team Galactic Guardians of 1985, as I've already said, and was actually voiced by Frank Welker, who is well known for animation voices and character animations as well. It's quite interesting. Then, of course, we then jump over to 1989. Of course, Tim Burton brought a film to us, Batman, which earned $400 million worldwide, and that was, of course, played by Jack Nicholson. Now, there has been speculation that the role was a defining performance in Nicholson's career and was overshadowing Michael Keaton. Now, I did mention this quite briefly yesterday, that Jack Nicholson got top billing for this movie when it should have actually have been, you know, Michael Keaton, as he was the main star. But because Jack Nicholson was a bigger actor, more successful, had won multiple Oscars as well, he got top billing. And, I mean, film critic Roger Ebert saying that the audience must sometimes remind themselves not to root for the Joker, because Jack Nicholson's Joker somewhat made the fans love him, because there was the darkness, the intensity of the role, and everybody knows and loves Jack Nicholson, so it was very, very hard not to actually favoritise the Joker over Batman. Then we go to 1992, the television series Batman, the animated series, which of course introduced us to probably one of the greatest voice talents of the Joker, and that is, of course, Mark Hamill. The Joker retained his darker tone of the comics, but made it acceptable for children, and I think Mark Hamill was a good shout in that scenario regarding the likes of Luke Skywalker, because as much as Star Wars was quite nitty-gritty at times, it was suitable for children. So Mark Hamill has often stated that sometimes you can bring a dark character into the kind of the children tone so that everybody would love that character. Hamill's Joker is considered as a defining portrayal, and then went on to voice the character in spin-off films, for example 1993's Batman the Mask of Phantasm, 2000's Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, and then we'll go on and talk about the video games in just a few minutes as well. Then there was another redesigned Joker voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson that appeared in 2004's The Batman, and Richardson was actually the first African American to play the character, albeit he didn't really get good credit, but nonetheless he did prove effective. But by that point everybody was rooting for the best voice for the Joker was Mark Hamill. Now 2005 brought a new sort of director into the mix, and after his hugely successful film Batman Begins, it only was fitting that Christopher Nolan would turn his eye to the Joker. And then of course in 2008 The Dark Knight came out with Heath Ledger as the Joker. Now this is where things get a lot trickier in this respect. I mean, Heath Ledger is a defining Joker, there is no doubt about that, and he is actually the very first person to win an Oscar for a superhero movie, but the problem was it was posthumously. Unfortunately, Heath Ledger died only about 6 months before the film was released. He actually had only completed half of the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus at the time. Now, many people have went on to say that is what makes Heath Ledger stand out, that, you know, that he had died because of the theory the Joker gets into your head, you need to be in a dark place to play the Joker so well. Maybe his death obviously gave him that Oscar. There has been multiple scenarios, you know, you either take it or you don't, and it will be one of the questions that I will be asking through the week regarding the Joker, on whether or not do you think Heath Ledger's Joker would have been equally as good had he not died and had he not won the Oscar. Then we go on to 2009's Batman the Brave and the Bold, who was then of course voiced by Jeff Bennett, and then in 2011's Young Justice he was voiced by no other than Star Trek's Data, Brent Spiner. Then you've got more comic books, of course, and then we jump over to 2010. We'll go back there. Batman Under the Red Hood, he was voiced by John DiMaggio. And then in 2012, Michael Emerson voiced him in the 2-part animated adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns. So, you know, as we've seen, as the years go on, somewhat becomes more rapid and stance and different kind of Jokers coming into play. Then in 2014, Batman fans got the fright of their lives. Of course, a TV show was created, and it was of course Gotham. Now, there was a lot of speculation when Gotham came out, would they bring the Joker in, and how would it work with a young Bruce Wayne, you know. In the Tim Burton's 1989 Batman movie, they say that it was the Joker that actually killed the Waynes, and, you know, how would this actually fit into that kind of theory? However, Gotham did go there and it explored the mythology of the Joker through twin brothers, Jerome and Jeremiah Valeska, played by, of course, Cameron Monaghan. Now, a lot of people, and they've actually said that Cameron Monaghan isn't technically a Joker, he is a form of a Joker, but officially he is still a Joker. And he brought a kind of new flavour to it. I mean, I remember watching the first episode with the character of Jerome, and it was chilling. It was very, very chilling, and it was very interesting to see, considering the last time he was live action television, it was the prankster that was Cesar Romero. Then in 2016 we got Jared Leto playing the Joker in Suicide Squad as well, and then Zach Galifianakis then went on to voice the Joker in the Lego Batman movie. That's where we get to in the film point, but also we need to talk about in 2016-2017 as well that the Killing Joke was released as an animated film, and of course Mark Hamill did return for that. Jared Leto did say that he wanted to return as the Joker. However, be it as you like, not many people were very, very happy with the way he played the Joker. So Warner Brothers kind of shut down it straight away. But then all of a sudden there was a dramatic U-turn and Todd Phillips came up with this film. And listed immediately, it was of course Oscar nominated, absolutely incredible actor Joaquin Phoenix. And this film, like I say, is directed by Todd Phillips and produced by Martin Scorsese. So you can tell about the intensity of this film already. Now, like I say, comic books, we went through the comic books last night on platforms. We have now went through television and film. And now we need to go on to probably one of the biggest platforms in modern society, and that is, of course, video games. Yes, video games have been especially around for the last maybe 30 years. But in most recent years, maybe 15, 16 years, it has somewhat become more and more popular. Now, probably one of the biggest actors to play the Joker in video games is, of course, Mark Hamill. In 2009, the critically acclaimed Batman Arkham Asylum was equally praised alongside its 2011 part Arkham City. And then, of course, when Multiplayer Universe came out, Hamill was replaced by Troy Baker in the 2013 prequel Batman Arkham Origins. And, of course, the Arkham series and animated spin-off, Batman Assault on Arkham. But, of course, fans were still not very happy. And, of course, Mark Hamill returned for the 2015 series finale for that. And then the epic finale being Batman Arkham Knight. Richard Epcar voiced the Joker in 2008's fighting game Mortal Kombat vs DC Universe, 2013's Injustice God Among Us, and 2017's Injustice 2 as well, which is, like I said, fitting because the team affiliations are regarding Injustice. The character also featured in the Lego Batman game, the Lego Batman 2 game, and the animated adaptation of Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham, which was voiced by Christopher Corey Smith as well. Anthony Ingruber voices Batman, the Telltale series of 2016, and Batman, the Enemy Within of 2017. So, he has been in a lot of platforms across media. That is just a taste of what he has been in. I want to highlight quite quickly as well a game that has been recently released over the last couple of years that was not mentioned there. And on the dawn of this age of gaming, of course the PlayStation VR had to bring out its very own Batman game as well, which was ultimately voiced by Mark Hamill. Now, I got the PlayStation VR when it first came out, and the first game I bought was Batman as well. And one of the reasons being was, one, I knew the Joker was in it, and two, I knew it was Mark Hamill that was voicing him. And I must admit, everybody that comes up to my house, I make sure that they play that game. And there is a scene, if you've ever played the VR game, there's a scene at the very end with the Joker, and he tells you to come closer, and obviously you look like a complete idiot with your VR headset going closer and closer, and then all of a sudden, bang, you're in the prison cell. And as you turn around, the cell closes and closes in, so it's not for anyone that suffers from extreme claustrophobia. And then the next thing you know, you are the Joker, which of course, as I spoke about yesterday as well, the theory of Batman and the Joker being one person comes in and the game ends just like that. So I highly recommend, if anyone's got a PlayStation and wants to get the VR, I would heavily encourage you to all play the Batman game, especially if you're a Mark Hamill fan. But he has been around since 1940, and of course since 1966 he has came out of the comic books and into live action. And then from 1989 specifically onwards, there has been a huge turnover of Jokers and a huge turnover of animations, games, more comic books, films. And now we're in this time where it's just everything's happening very quickly. I mean, you see it all the time now. Once there's a film out, they bring out a game regarding it, or they bring out a novelisation of the film. So they're always around. They are always around. And the Joker is probably one of the most used characters in all different platforms. It's absolutely incredible. It's very, very hard to distinguish which platform suits him best. Mostly, I think, ultimately, you're probably going to see television, or no, comic books, because that is where he started. But when television became like the golden age and Cesar Romero came in, and then Larry Storch's animated series as well, that became another golden age. But when Tim Burton's Batman came out, I don't think anyone can actually argue with this point, regardless about Heath Ledger and so on. If it wasn't for Tim Burton's Batman with Jack Nicholson in 1989, we wouldn't have this frenzy of Joker fanatics and Joker multi-dimensional characters that are coming to us. So you need to give Tim Burton credit for that, let's be honest. But there will probably be more media platforms. Who knows, the Joker might end up coming out in a radio show at one point. He'll probably come out on YouTube as well. You know, he's going to get bigger and better and more evolved on different platforms, as we have, of course, watched evolve over our generation, over our parents' generation, and probably our grandparents that were comic book fans when the comics first came out. So it has become a generational thing as well regarding the platforms. You'll have probably seen I posted a question. Now, for the YouTube fans and for the Instagram fans, you'll not know what I'm talking about here. I posted a question on Facebook, and it was to say, two questions in fact. One, what is the first name that you think of when you come to the Joker? And another question that kind of coincided with it, by not giving your age away, what Joker did you grow up watching? And the answers that I got, both privately and on the page, was absolutely incredible, and it actually proved my theory very, very well. The people that said the Joker that they were brought up with were the ones that automatically said the exact same person that played the Joker. Now, this is probably, you know, when I think of the Joker, I think of Jack Nicholson and Mark Hamill, because I was born in 1987. 1989's Batman came out, and obviously the early 90s the animation came out as well, but of course I watched the reruns of Cesar Romero. It just goes to show the theory is that Joker is, in fact, a generation thing. You know, if I asked Fraser who played Joker, he would probably say Heath Ledger or Jared Leto. Or Mark Hamill as well, you know. So my theory actually was really, really plausible, and it did work out in my favour, that everybody that said the first person they think of as a Joker was actually the one that they grew up with. As much as they'll credit other Jokers, the one that they'll always remember the most is in fact the one they grew up with. So don't worry, there will be more questions coming your way. I've got a lot of questions coming up over the next couple of days that I think they're going to get a lot more harder for you. I also want to give a huge shout out to Connor as well. I posted a photo earlier, or a couple of photos earlier on, of my 30th birthday cake, which was of course the Joker as well, which was a huge thanks to Campsie Cakes for making that beautiful birthday cake. My mum and dad bought me that. But Connor also sent in a photograph of his birthday cake of a couple of years ago, which was the Joker, and it's absolutely fantastic. So if you go on to the post on Facebook, guys, of my birthday cake and scroll down, you will in fact see Connor's birthday cake as well. It's absolutely fantastic. So big shout out for Connor. A huge thank you for sharing that photograph with us. And that is it for tonight. Sorry, it's been a bit hectic. My internet being weird. My cat's being weird as well. I don't know, is it a full moon out there or something? Maybe the Joker is just getting to their minds. I don't have a clue. But tomorrow we will be kicking off probably the nitty-gritty stuff. Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to go on and talk about some of the actors that have played the Joker. Now, I think our focus is going to be Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, Mark Hamill, Heath Ledger, Jared Leto and Joaquin Phoenix. Obviously, I can't talk about Joaquin Phoenix until Friday when I've actually watched the film. But tomorrow night we are going to discuss Cesar Romero and probably Jack Nicholson. So be prepared, that's going to be a very, very fun video. And then on Thursday we will go on and talk about Mark Hamill and Heath Ledger. And then on Friday you're going to have Joker review with alongside Joaquin Phoenix as Joker. Saturday we will be talking about Jared Leto probably again. I'm going to try and jump in with Jared Leto every now and there, because on Sunday I'm going to do a earlier show because I'm going out to see Eddie Izzard on Sunday night. And we are going to talk about, has Joaquin Phoenix sealed his line in the history books as probably one of the best Jokers? So it's going to be very, very fun, but there's going to be still lots of polls, lots of questions coming your way, and like I say, it's going to get really, really intense now that we're going to talk about the actors that have played the Joker. So I will see you all tomorrow night at 9 PM UK time, and like I say, I want to apologise for my psycho cats. I don't know what's going on with them tonight. So thank you very much, and as usual, I'm Rosie Hughes, and this is Rosie Hughes Movie World. Thank you, and good night.